It's Thursday edition, orange and blue today. Cecil, Lammey, Andrew Mason here to talk about the Denver Broncos. And yeah, JK Dobbins. Love what he's doing on the field. Love him off the field. Love him speaking Spanish. Mace, I think I've just fallen in love with JK Dobbins.
I think not only have you fallen in love with JK Dobbins, I think JK Dobbins has fallen in love with Denver and the Broncos. I think that's probably just as important here.
And Broncos country has fallen in love with him, man. Everything he's doing. Wow.
So,
who do you love? Who do you trust? Hubba, hubba, hubba. Money, money, money. Who do you trust? If I say that, I'm going to finish that quote 10 times out of 10 because, well, I lived 89 Batman in 1989. Mason's not 1989, but man alive, this Broncos team is running the football with JK Dobbins leading the way. What does it mean for the rest of the season? What does it mean for the future? Eckhart. Sorry, I'll stop quoting Batman and let's talk so that I can stop quoting Batman. To talk about JK Dobbins, who, has a 1-year deal. Okay, I understand why the Broncos did that. I understand when the Broncos did it. I mean, they're going to face the Texans with Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb signed the next day. It was J.K. Dobbins' time because there was two backs everyone was waiting for. It was Chubb. It was Dobbins. I don't think Houston has, any concerns with Chubb. He's been, solid. But Dobbins has been outstanding this year.
Chubb's been fine. 321 yards, 4.0 yards per carry. 2 touchdowns. He's been fine. He's been fine. J.K. Dobbins has 5.3 yards per carry, 634 yards. J.K. Dobbins has been one of the league's best running backs so far this season. And at the price point the Broncos paid for him, he's been one of the great bargains, dare you say great values, in the NFL so far this season. Yeah, you have to go there, right? Considering who the ownership of the Broncos is. He's been a great value for the Broncos.
Yeah.
He's knock on every surface you can find. He's been healthy, and like we discussed yesterday, when he's healthy, he's one of the best running backs in football, and he's proven that since he got into the league in 2020. The years he's been healthy, he's been effective. He's had a robust per carry average every time he's been healthy. That's been his career. When he's been able to play, he's been effective. So that's why that and how he's playing, that's why the question came up when he was meeting the media today. Hey, are you thinking about contract extension? Are you thinking about anything beyond this year? Is that on your mind? And here's what JK had to say when that subject arose.
As far as extension and stuff like that doesn't cross my mind. But me just wanting to be here in Denver, yes. Like I hope to, end my career here, and be here for the rest of my time in the NFL. And as far as extension and all that, though, I don't think about that. I don't really think about that. But, yeah, that would be nice because I want to be in Denver. Like, I love it. I love the fan base. I think the fan base and I have a connection. I love my teammates. And I also love Sean Payton. I love the owners. And it's just like, but I don't think about the extension part. I just think about me being here because I love it. I love it. The beautiful mountains, and I love being in altitude, now being, I'm used to it now. So, yeah.
I like that. You love that smile. You love that personality. And his teammates love him, too.
Well, you love the personality, but, there's a genuine enthusiasm about being in Denver. He's playing well. The team's playing well. He likes the environment. He likes his coach. Likes the guys in the locker room. He's taken to it. He's become one of the leaders of the team. It's just everything seems to fit for J.K. Dobbins. It just seems to all come together. So.
And fitting Sean Payton, I think, is that key there, Mace, that you hit on. It's the fit with Payton and what Payton wants him to do, preparing the way he wants him to prepare. And, Sean Payton loves his Q. Well, JK Dobbins loves his HC.
Well, that's a key thing, right? I mean, you've got that going for you, and it's funny you mentioned that because having that synergy with your head coach, especially this specific head coach,
Yes.
matters. You were there, so you were there when I asked the question of Will Lutz, right?
Yeah.
Because Will, of course, special teams player of the month, and he talked about I asked him about how he's been with Sean Payton nearly his entire career. And of course, Sean Payton went through 10 kickers in his first decade as a head coach. And then Will Lutz, aside from a year where Lutz was injured, Will Lutz has been the only kicker he's had ever since then. So I asked him kind of about that and kind of finding that groove. And then he mentioned kind of, getting used to Sean Payton dealing with him. And I said, okay, like what are the things that you have to do to kind of adjust to Sean Payton, right? And he kind of, the answer he gave sort of was one of those answers that implied there's a lot more there, and it would be cool to explore that at some point.
Yeah.
But kind of, it's sort of the thing that says Sean Payton isn't for everybody. But those who are right for him and he's right for, there can be some magic there. Like if you are the right type of player for him and he's the right type of coach for you, some great things can end up happening. I think Nick Benito even mentioned it yesterday, talking about how this team, and it's got the ability to win a lot of different types of games, and we've seen it just in the past month. They win a game like they did against Dallas where it's, offense is going up and down the field. It's, high octane type of game. They win the type of game against the Giants where they have to come back furiously at the end. They win a game against the Jets that is frankly a grim slog, right?
Oh.
Defensive oriented, very tough to watch. But we've seen in the course of the Broncos getting to 6-2 that they've won all types of games. They've won defensive oriented slugfests that were certainly what you'd call ugly wins. And they've won other types of games, and Nick Benito said, hey, part of it is the type of team that's been constructed. It's kind of handpicked over the years, the 3 years that he's been here, to be able to win games like this, to learn how to win games in a lot of different ways. And it's getting kind of the right players. And it's trial and error getting those right players. But when you find those guys, you want to hang on to them. JK Dobbins appears to be one of those types of players. Now, the Broncos don't have to make a decision on JK Dobbins right now, and certainly that's where his health, how he holds up over the rest of the season, certainly comes into play as well. But he certainly fits the template of the type of player the Broncos would want to have in their locker room.
Yeah, the type of player that they'd want. And by the way, Andrew Sky, guys, greeting from Malaysia. We got Broncos country everywhere. So
yeah.
Thank you for tuning in, no matter where you're at, to Orange and Blue today. Mace, I would ask you, were there any subjects in school that you did not like? And basically, I'm asking you, did you like chemistry?
Wasn't my favorite.
Okay, well, I will say this. You do remember during experiments, you'd always have a constant. Or you tried to have a constant. When we look at this Broncos offense this year, what's the constant? It's JK.
I was going to say most of the offensive line.
Yeah. And JK tying into that with the ground game, setting up Bo Nix. And Bo Nix has had those ups and downs. And it's not like JK's 100 yards every game, but you seem to have this intent from Sean Payton of like, here's 12, here's 15. One time it got 20, like there's just this sort of, here's the program, here's the plan, and the plan includes JK Dobbins leading the way.
Let's just go with the touches for JK Dobbins over the course of the season. 17, 15, 14, 21, 17, 12, 15, 18. Over the
Sounds
course of
pretty
the
constant.
year. Yes. I just went, that was in reverse order, by the way. So that was, the 12 touches was against the Chargers. That's the fewest. So anywhere from 12 to 21. So that's a pretty, it's not a crazy range. Like there's not like a game with 7 or 8, right?
Right.
It's not, so you're not looking at a game where you're like, oh, he didn't get the ball much at all there. I mean, maybe 12 is fewer than you want there against the Chargers. Funny thing is, in that game, he was still pretty productive, 83 yards on the ground, but 41 of them, of course, came on one play. So that was, that was one of the kind of the frustrating games where where the offense came, unfortunately, it came in clumps, right? That was the 9 first down game there, where you didn't have the consistency on offense that you'd like, and maybe some of the lack of consistency was reflected in the fact that you didn't get JK Dobbins the ball enough, but also to be certain, you didn't have, you didn't have maybe as many plays as you'd like. That was a game where the Chargers had 80 plays from scrimmage in that game, and the Broncos only had 48 in that game. J.K. Dobbins had 25% of the plays, 12 of 48, and so that probably had something to do with his lack of touches as well.
Yeah, and that's a huge discrepancy as the average is around 60 plays now in the NFL. So, yeah, more JK, more wins, and more going forward. We do have the chat room asking a question that I rebel against, Mace. Now, I'm naturally a rebel, but I rebel against the notion that JK is getting in the way of RJ and his development. I don't think you could have RJ Harvey as your lead back right now, and perhaps that's never part of his plan. Perhaps it is. But as of right now, I haven't seen this JK RJ thing of like, well, JK's good, yeah, but RJ's right there. Like, no, RJ had a big game, but they also have a plan, obviously, because every single week he is in the single digits, it seems like.
Well, also, don't forget there's the pass protection element of it as well.
It's huge.
That RJ Harvey does not yet have to the degree where you can trust him out there extensively. And that's simply going to put a cap on how much you're going to have him out there. And to the degree that you can have him out there for certain situations, you can't have him out there on third downs, and thus it's going to be not so much a tell, but it's going to limit him. And the other thing also, I mean, if you look if you look, say, at how RJ Harvey is getting his yards. I mean, they're basically coming kind of in these huge clumps when they happen, right? I mean, that's another thing that's coming into play is he gets yardage, but when he gets it, it's maybe not as consistent as you'd like compared to the way that J.K. Dobbins is getting it as well. And I mean, J.K. Dobbins, for example, if you look at success rate, his success rate is, let me find it here. I have it in front of me. J.K. Dobbins is 53.3% in success rate, and R.J. Harvey is 36.4% in terms of rushing success rate. So that's another way of saying that J.K. Dobbins is more consistent at this point than R.J. Harvey in terms of being consistently productive, and that's going to lead to Dobbins getting more opportunities than RJ.
And you take out RJ's big run against the Cowboys, what do you have, like 6 carries for 6 yards? Something like that, and then you break one for 40. Like that's the type of player he is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing.
And I'm
He's
okay
6
with
for
that.
6. Yeah, and you look. I mean, so he had the 40-yard run against the Cowboys.
Awesome.
He had the 50-yard run against the Titans.
Week
right?
1. Yep.
So that's 90 of his 200 yards on 2 carries. So he's got 2 carries for 90. And other than that, he's got 32 for 110. So that's 32, 64, 96, 120. I mean, that's 3.5 yards a carry on his other 32. And that's reflected in the success rate being substantially lower than that of JK Dobbins right now.
Yeah, it's a 1-2 punch, make no doubt about it, but it's Dobbins as that top punch and not getting in the way of RJ Harvey. We'll continue to watch his development, though, here with JK, and maybe this is the future, Mace. Maybe this is, not trading. I know there's a trade market. We got a week away from the trade deadline and from the Raiders game. The Broncos play 2 games in the next 7 days. So, okay, maybe it's not trade for a running back. Maybe it's just sign JK Dobbins.
Well, maybe. We'll see. I mean, at the same time, if you're going to have not that you want injuries, but if you're going to have an injury, you want it to happen on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want injury to happen on Thursday. If you have an injury on Sunday, you can do something about it. Can't really do anything about it on Thursday and beyond.
Right. We got a ton of stuff coming up for you. It is Orange and Blue today. Before we continue today's program, how about a word from our sponsor?
Today's episode of Orange and Blue Today is presented by Ramos Law, the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Ramos Law was founded by Dr. Joseph Ramos, an attorney and ER doctor, to provide exceptional care to those injured in accidents. With a unique understanding of both medicine and law, the Ramos Law team is built to fight for you every step of the way. Experience the Ramos Law difference. Contact them today at ramoslaw.com.
What else was the vibe in the locker room, Mace? You were in the locker room. I was at the podium. For the love of God, I hope I recorded things correctly today.
It was fine. No, they came out fine.
Okay, all right.
Came out. Don't worry, everything was good.
Behind the scenes yesterday, we were like, "Oh no, we got some scrambling to do." So,
well, they changed the process at midstream on the media, and next week's going to be a colossal cluster because it's Thursday night football.
Right.
No, the vibe it was fine. It was a Thursday. Dre Greenlaw did talk today. I want to play this comment. He talked about kind of what he heard from the league about his suspension and kind of why it happened. Let's listen to Dre Greenlaw talking about it.
Honestly, they didn't tell me. We show clips or whatever, but they're gonna make their decision, and all you can do is just do what they tell you.
Yeah. It was interesting. Not a lot of clarity. He said the way he was talking about that day that didn't really kind of give him clarity on kind of exactly what happened. It's sort of, that kind of reminds me of some of the things that Kareem Jackson was saying a couple of years ago when he was dealing with league discipline about his hits and he was getting suspended repeatedly.
And they wouldn't really tell him, define what's going on.
Yeah, what he was trying to find out, okay, what do I need to do to not get suspended in the future? And he was struggling to get that clarity in his discussions with the league over and over and over again. And it was just that response. I mean, it was obviously a very short response from Dre, but it kind of stuck with me in light of what we've heard before from players who've dealt with the league in terms of suspensions, punishment, and that kind of thing, that it's not necessarily clear what they're getting back from the league in terms of why you're being punished, what's going on here. So, I mean, we've seen the video, of course, but the video we can't hear. We see the video, but we don't hear what was said.
Right.
So,
how very authoritarian of Roger Goodell. It'd be nice to have him back out there. Although we're getting some clarity on the Texans injury report, Mace. Let's talk about this because we do have full participation for Christian Kirk.
Yes.
So he's going to be back out there as their slot receiver, veteran, really good slot receiver. Nico Collins, full participation from his concussion. He's going to be back after missing the game against the 49ers. So that's going to be where Riley Moss versus Nico Collins is coming through. And Dalton Schultz, their tight end, not practicing. Now, they got Friday, and maybe he's limited, and maybe he's super questionable. But as of right now, it looks like Harrison Bryant, remember him, and Dalton Keene, of course, who I just talked about yesterday. So it's like, wow, they get a couple receivers back, but then Dalton Schultz looks like he might miss this game.
Potentially a big absence. And also for the Broncos, they added Alex Forsythe to the injury list today, limited with an ankle injury. He was not on the injury report Wednesday, and he was out there for the start of practice Thursday. So usually when you see a player added to the injury report that wasn't on the day before and they're listed as limited, that typically means they had an injury during practice. So that would so seems like something happened to Alex Forsythe, Broncos backup center, during practice. So potentially the depth for the Broncos on the offensive line taking another hit, and specifically the depth on the interior. They're already, of course, without Ben Powers at guard. Matt Parrott filling in at left guard. He's on injured reserve as well. So Alex Palczewski in there. Calvin Throckmorton has been brought up to the 53. Now you may be dealing with something with your backup center behind Luke Wattenberg as well. So then it starts getting tricky. So if something happens to Luke Wattenberg and Alex Forsythe is unavailable, who steps in at center? Like, do you put Throckmorton in there if something happens to Luke Wattenberg, or is it maybe Quinn Miners going over and handling center duties, for example, and then Throckmorton's going in at guard? I mean, that's something to keep your eye on as well, as far as the injury report. It's as long as Luke Wattenberg stays healthy, it can be status quo. But we saw Luke Wattenberg did miss some time last year, so that's something I think to keep your eye on. We'll see if Forsythe's back out there tomorrow, but him landing on the injury report today is definitely something that could be a concern. And also, Marvin Mims Jr. still not on the field here on Thursday. I mean, no surprise, of course, Nate Adkins, Pat Surtain not on the practice field.
Right.
So, I mean, with Surtain, we're talking about weeks coming back from the pec rather than being day-to-day. And Nate Adkins, it seems like with the knee, it seems like something reasonably serious there. I think we'll probably get more clarity when we get on Saturday, depending on if he goes to injured reserve. Marvin Mims Jr. being not on the field on Thursday means he's not tracking toward playing on Sunday. We'll see if he's out there Friday, but usually in terms of going through the post-concussion protocol, in terms of being ready to play by Sunday, you'd like to see him on the field doing something by Thursday, at least like with a hat on, running around, that kind of thing. So that probably does not augur well for him being available and cleared in time for Sunday. So that's being DNP on Thursday, probably not a good sign for him. So yeah, plenty of injury news. I'd say probably not any of it good coming out of that for the Broncos.
And just wait till Saturday's show. We're going to play you the Vance Joseph clip where I think anytime I talk to VJ, he's like says a little bit too much. He might have said too much today. Maybe.
Well, remember what he did last year. It was about this time last year. It was this week. It was week 9 last year.
You're right.
Going to Baltimore. And then he basically said what they were going to do tactically. And then Baltimore besieged the Broncos. It's a little better now. The defense is in better shape, but
yes.
yeah. So,
but VJ, you could keep your cards close to the vest, and maybe he did, and I don't know, but yeah, it's just interesting. What's the plan without Pat Surtain? We're gonna do our game plan show on Saturday. We're gonna have all the goodies for you, so we appreciate that. Mace, you feeling good? You feeling good wrapping up today? What's going on here?
I'm fine.
All right. Then let's wrap.
I'm fine.
Let's wrap this puppy up for today. Be back tomorrow, and of course, we got our Saturday shows. OBT is a 7-day-a-week show. We thank everyone for helping us out on our Denver Sports YouTube channel. through everything that we do on Orange and Blue today. But Mace, how can folks further help us out here?
Like,
Comment,
share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell.
so that you
Never
never
miss
uh,
vid.
vid. That's right. Andrew Mason, socials at Mace Denver. I'm Cecil Lammey, OBT, BFT. Stay tuned and stay frosty.